Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning to some of you according to your location on the face of this planet Earth. We welcome you all to our today's live broadcast right here from our homeland studio here in Biafra land, where I am broadcasting from. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. I remain the fearless Ipob Evangelist Mazi Maduabuchi. I am from Nnamdi. Nnamdi is in Nnamdi. Nnamdi is a local government in Nigeria province, Biafra land. I am a homeland broadcaster under Ipob. Nnamdi Kanu is our leader. We move. We are here to explain many things to the public related to injustice. You know, this is natural. If you support evil, evil will be coming to you. That is why we will continue to stand on the truth. That is why justice must always prevail. And that is why we are here at this very moment. Your duty is to share. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for joining us. Excuse me. Let me sip some water. We move. Share it as our people are joining so that others will join. We move. So the issue now is the stand of IPOB and those that believe in justice and lovers of freedom. Because there is something we are now seeing, and in the other way around, we have to present it to the public. On the pictures before my screens here, presented before the public, it's all about verdicts, judgments, appeal court judgment. You can see Amnesty International tweet, 13th of October 2022. You can see it on my screen. You can even read by yourself. Amnesty International welcomes the Court of Appeal ruling in Abuja, which discharged leader of indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, of the charges against him. Somebody must understand, I'm reading from Amnesty International tweet, 2022, October 13. Thank you. We continue. So, discharged Nnamdi Kanu of the charges against him. The Nigerian authorities must abide by the ruling. They must. You know, there is difference between must and the will. Will is different. So, now, Amnesty say must. Then we continue. In compliance with the human rights, in compliance with its human rights obligations. Nnamdi Kanu. That's the hashtag they add there, Nnamdi Kanu. So people can now understand us. Are they now saying that the same man that court discharged and discharged all the charges against him, the remaining 8 count charges, and they prohibited him from standing any trial, they now tell us that he will stand trial? It is not necessary for such man to stand trial. He should not stand trial. Thank you, Lion Man. Thank you. Because there is no basis for continuous trial of Nnamdi Kanu. That's why the very lawyers you see today telling you or representing Nnamdi Kanu, you can see from their interview they granted that they are there to remind the Federal High Court of the rulings or judgment of the Supreme. Right? Somebody is disturbing the line. Somebody, excuse me, just for some seconds. I'm back. I'm back. Remove. So now, Nnamdi Kanu have been discharged and acquitted. When we say discharged, we do not stop only discharged. You must add acquitted. Right? Because there is dismiss, there is struck out, there is struck off, there is strike out, there is strike off, there is discharge only. There is also caution and discharge. There is bail, different kinds of bail. There is self-bail. There is 3-man surety, 3 years tax clearances bail, conditions. There are bails with these things and also landis. But that of Nnamdi Kanu is not caution and discharge. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not discharge. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not dismissed. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not struck out. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not struck off. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not strike out. That of Nnamdi Kanu is not strike off, but discharged and acquitted, the highest of it all. Agachogo, the end of the matter. The prayer of anybody that is facing trial or standing trial is to get discharged and acquitted. That's the final of it all. After all, I've obtained such thing on capital charges. Discharged and acquitted. Do you understand? So what I am saying now is that our presentation is very, very clear. You can see from Daily Sun, you can see appeal court discharged, acquitted in Nnamdi Kanu. 13th of October 2022. You see Amnesty International tweet. We know why we are presenting it, and I know why I brought this very picture of 3 Yoruba people, because after my explanation now, we'll go into this very third picture. That you will see Tinubu, President of Nigeria, you will see Ariwola, right? Uluka Ariwola, Chief Justice of Nigeria. You will also see Fagbemi, Latif Fagbemi, the Attorney General of Nigeria, Fulani, because he's the Attorney General of Federation. The F there is Fulani, not Federation. There's not a Federation in Nigeria. It's only Fulani. Even if you are a Yoruba man, you are appointed, you must do Fulani bid. You must do Fulani mind. You must do their will. So let us move. So what are we saying here is that the very Buhari northern government, Fulani government, they are the people who started this very journey of arresting Nnamdi Kanu in Murtala Mohammed Airport on the 14th of October 2015. The day they announced, after pressure from Ipob Radio Biafra, they announced that they are with Nnamdi Kanu. But they have been with him on the 12th night, right? In Murtala Mohammed Airport, Lagos. So now, The enemies are reporting the program, but we must continue. We must continue. Thank you. Thank you. So we move. Now, on the process of this very journey, we know why we are analyzing this, because we want to go somewhere. On the process of this very journey, and the program will not be long. So, Nnamdi Kanu have been discharged severally under Buhari Northern government, and let me just mention few judges or few judgments with years or date it happened. On the 17th of December 2015, I know why I mentioned these things. There are people who have joined this very page. So many people follow this page. We know why we are reminding them this very date, because so many of us, we have make sure it register in the mindset of our people. They now have this date. That's why I mention it oftenly. They now have this judgment. So many people have forgotten it, but I keep reminding it to them, to the people, so that those who told us they are lawyers, if they can just reason and pick points from what we say, but they will not do so because they are learned people. But they don't know that we are also different. Thank you. So the issue there now is that the people who started the very arrest, even when Buhari was there and when he wasn't there, the continuation of his prosecution, it was carried on by Buhari's government, whether in his presence or whether in his absence. Then there are the people who also, after disobeying court order of Justice Ademola of the Federal High Court Abuja on the 17th of December 2015, they also disobeyed the court order of Honorable Justice John Soho of the Federal High Court Abuja also. They also refused the order of Honorable Justice Ahmed Mohamed, who directed them to go and obey the previous court rulings, which are the rulings of Justice Ademola and Justice John Soho. So they also filed the bail that Nnamdi Kanu also met up with the conditions upon the high conditional bails. The attack is home on the 14th of September 2017, Python dance. So after all these things, he disappeared, and they also find their way, and at the end, it ended up in Kenya, kidnapping him while Nnamdi Kanu was not occupying Nigerian passport, and they extraordinarily renditioned him back to Nigeria. And since then, they have been taking him to court, and under that Buhari's government, he defeated them. And at the end, he was discharged and acquitted. Firstly, a state high court sitting in Umuahia gave a verdict on the 19th of January 2022 that Nnamdi Kanu did not jump bail, but he escaped military assassination attempt. So on this, the very allegation that he jumped bail that gave them the grant to go and kidnap him in Kenya was also destroyed by their own court. That is to say, the very allegation that he jumped bail died there, but they're still using it. Now, we continue. Thank you. Thank you. So we continue. Now, UN also gave order that Nnamdi Kanu should be freed immediately. Nigeria did not obey. We continued and we went to appeal after Bintanyako, the lawyers of Nnamdi Kanu destroyed 7 count charges out of the 15 count charges against Nnamdi Kanu. They destroyed 7 in Bintanyako's Federal High Court, Abuja, and went to appeal with the remaining 8, and appeal destroyed the remaining 8, and discharged Nnamdi Kanu and acquitted him also, condemned the way he was kidnapped from Kenya. The judgment also prohibited him from standing any trial. And that is why you see the tweet of Amnesty here on the screen, because it is an evidence that they confirmed the very discharged and acquitted of Nnamdi Kanu, and also the very Sun newspaper on Daily Sun here on the screen. And that is why we are bringing it to the public that as far as the Northern and the Fulani and the Buhari's government, Nnamdi Kanu defeated them for complete good 8 years, whether in the presence of, during the days of Buhari and in his absence while in his government. we continue defeating them. The very court discharged and acquitted by the appeal court also happened during the tenure of Buhari. And that is why I present this very argument and also fact that Yoruba people have finally conspired to do their own, having seen that Tinubu occupied or inherited an empty case file. A very case that had been discharged and acquitted is what under Tinubu's government they now say that the trial begins. And who are these very representative of Yoruba people against Nnamdi Kanu? They are the president of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and what is it called? Ulukayode. When I call Tinubu, he's a Yoruba man. Then Ulukayode Ariwola is also a Yoruba man, maybe from Kwara. He's the Chief Justice of Nigeria. You can count it. They are now two I have mentioned. Another one is Lateef Fagbemi, a Yoruba man also from Kwara State. He is now the Attorney General of Nigeria. That is to say, President Yoruba man, Chief Justice Yoruba man, Attorney General Yoruba man. It is a conspiracy of the Yoruba people until the Yoruba people rise up and go against this very move by the Yoruba people who have been representing them in the high levels of the government and the very people who are in the position of the persecution of Nnamdi Kanu, not even prosecution, because the prosecution ended under Buhari's government. Whatever we see now is persecution. There is difference between prosecution and the persecution. Somebody who refer your case back to Federal High Court from Supreme, the person exactly legalized persecution of a special man. Not prosecution, because prosecution started from 2015 and ended up in 2022. That's when the prosecution of Nnamdi Kanu started and ended. What you see now is persecution, and that is why we say no. Persecution is different. And who are the people who now carry on this persecution? We have seen Yoruba people who are those that will call these very Yoruba representatives in order, if not Yoruba people. They have to call them, but if they did not call them, they do as left. They think we don't know what we are doing. The tenor of Fulani's torture on Nnamdi Kanu is over. If Yoruba say no, then they should meet Tinubu to do the needful. Yoruba have, Nnamdi Kanu have defeated North, defeated Buhari, defeated all of them. That's what God did to them, to make sure that a Yoruba man will inherit empty case file without charges. That's why you see Amnesty International tweet on the screen. That's why you see some newspaper screen front page on the screen also concerning the judgment. Then we ask you, why is it that under Tinubu's Yoruba's government, they say that trial begins? That is conspiracy of the Yoruba. They want to do their own. Until you come and clear it, tell us when you have approached Tinubu and say, do not do Yoruba thing. Because the people in charge of this very judgment and all that is going on, both the Supreme Court is a Yoruba man, Olukayode Ariwola, a Yoruba man who is the Chief Justice of Nigeria. He's the head of Supreme Court, and he is answerable to the president. So why do Olukayode refer the case that came to Supreme Court back to the Federal High Court? What does he mean? Is he trying to play Yoruba, or he's trying to play Nigeria? And that is why we are here presenting this very argument until you come and counter it and tell us no. Then we will know. But for now, Yoruba people have finally conspired to persecute Nnamdi Kanu and not prosecution. And they must stop that. Thank you. That is how we start. And that is how we present our matters and arguments. We fight this very battle from level to level. We have finally defeated Fulani and the Hausa people and the North on this very matter of Nnamdi Kanu. If you are a Yoruba man and you think that Fulanis are using you, we know that the tenor of you Fulanis are finished. You are now in charge and you are in line. You are online in the persecution of Nnamdi Kanu. The very offices I have mentioned now is the head of his prosecution. The president of Nigeria that the Supreme Court is even answerable to. He's a Yoruba man, Tinubu. The Chief Justice of Nigeria that is in charge now Olukayode Ariwola, Yoruba man. The Attorney General who is in charge of prosecution, now persecution. He is from Kwara State. Lateef Fagbemi, a Yoruba man, also. They are in this game together. They are three. If Yoruba say no, they should counter this and tell us that these people are from Igbo. We want to know why Yoruba people choose to begin a trial that have already ended. Even UN gave order. Why do they choose to continue trial when the Supreme Court also found Nigeria guilty of extraordinary rendition? Why must they choose trial of Nnamdi Kanu when they knew that the Supreme Court condemned the invasion of his house by Nigerian army on the 14th of September 2017? Why must they continue on that trial? Because they have conspired to do what is not necessary. It is an illegal trial because there is no legality in the trial of Nnamdi Kanu. After all, even under the very Buhari and the Fulani Northern government, the trial was also illegal. Immediately, Justice Ademola discharged Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally on the 17th of December 2015. The very warrant becomes invalid. The very warrant that was moved to the court of John Soho was invalid because the court that discharged him unconditionally, the court of Honorable Justice Ademola of the Federal High Court Abuja, have also signed that very warrant, detention warrant, and stamped it. That is to say, the detention warrant have been discharged. And there is no court where DSS obtained a fresh detention warrant against Nnamdi Kanu. Rather, they moved to the court of John Soho with the very warrant that have already been signed and discharged by the very Ademola of the Federal High Court Abuja. That is to say that Nnamdi Kanu was illegally standing trial in the court of John Soho. Even to the court of Bintanyaku, John Soho also discharged him unconditionally, and they moved the case to the court of Ahmed Mohamed, from Ahmed Mohamed to Bintanyaku. That is to say, the warrant that Bintanyaku granted bail was an already discharged warrant because there was no court where they obtained new fresh detention warrant after Justice Ademola discharged and acquitted Nnamdi Kanu. They should quote me wrong. DSS present it. Where is the new detention warrant? All these trials have been illegal because even the bail you say he jumped, the very warrant is illegal. The warrant you brought to the court of Bintanyaku, the warrant that Nigerian government granted bail was illegal warrant. It was an illegal warrant because the warrant had been discharged by Honorable Justice Ademola on the 17th of December 2015. And Bintanyaku granted the same warrant bail on the 2017 April or March, either March or April. So that is to say, the bail they granted to Nnamdi Kanu was even an illegal detention warrant, and that's why the army invaded. So immediately, Justice Ademola discharged Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally. Since then, he had been illegally standing trial. Up to today, he is illegally standing trial. The argument is very clear. Do you want to argue us? We are more intelligent than you. We are not answers. We have brain. Brain. We can destroy you. Thank you. Mother Chalugu. In truth and in honesty. Do you understand? So the very fact is that since 2015, this is an argument we are presenting that they should, even those that claim they are lawyers or those that are lawyers who claim that they don't know, they are now filing bail application for Nnamdi Kanu. People who, that is, what is it called? Intentionally facilitated the extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya to Nigeria with their silent, without informing IPOB that Nnamdi Kanu was under torture in Kenya. When we were worried and we notified them, they told us it was a mountain praying. Do you know that these same people are now in a haste? They are now in a haste to free Nnamdi Kanu. They are not showing love. The same thing Judas did. When they were taking Jesus away, he saw that as they were beating him, the next one, he ran back to them and returned the money, thinking he can save Jesus. That's the same thing people are now playing out. They are now trying to play good. They blackmail the good ones to be good. You know, but I don't see reason from anybody who was aware that our leader was in Kenya, that the person will present to me as a reason that he's fighting for the same Nnamdi Kanu freedom. Now you must be a fool. You cannot present that to me, that you know that Nnamdi Kanu will be free from Kenya very easy than Nigeria, and you were silent. You prefer him being brought back to Nigeria. Then after bringing him back to Nigeria, you now file a bail application for an already discharged man. Can't you see my explanation that Nnamdi Kanu have been illegally standing trial since 2016 from the court of John Soho, because Ademola discharged him on the 17th of December 2015, and there was no court that gave DSS a new detention warrant. They did not obtain a new detention warrant from any court. Rather, they disobeyed that very court order and they transferred Nnamdi Kanu's case to the court of John Soho. So we ask, which warrant did John Soho discharge? The same warrant from Ademola, John Soho discharged it. Where did John Soho sign? Did he sign on top of the signature of Ademola? Where did he stamp? Then let us just say he signed the other side, because you signed this one, he may sign at the other side. Now, which one was transferred to the court of Ahmed Mohammed? The same warrant to Nnamdi Kanu to go and stand the illegal trial. So Ahmed Mohammed told DSS to go and obey the previous court rulings. The same warrant was also moved to the court of Bintanyako, warrant that have already been discharged. They should tell me where they obtained a fresh detention warrant after Ademola discharged Nnamdi Kanu. Since then till today, Nnamdi Kanu have been illegally standing trial. And that is why we say no. They must obey one court order. They must. All the court orders are on the favor of Nnamdi Kanu. Ademola discharged unconditionally. They should obey this one, or they obey the judgment of John Soho, or they obey the bail granted by Bintanyako. They obey it, or they obey the very UN order, or they obey appeal court order, or they obey Federal High Court judgment in Umuahia on the 26th of October 2022, which Ejimako went. Those victories, Ejimako now keep it aside. He did not drag Nigeria into sea, but he is after Ejiofor, who also secured their own discharged and acquitted, which is the most powerful one. That one say return Nnamdi Kanu back to Kenya. That one Ejimako secured. Very powerful also. So Nigeria should obey that one. Now, this one Zokome and Ejiofor secured is the highest, but Ejimako have not even cleared his own. But he was there telling you, trying to prove to you that people that also, lawyers, team of lawyers that secured the same judgment as Nigerians refuse their own, refuse his own, even Ejimako, they never obey your own. Even the money you won in the court, billion, have they paid anyone? Have they paid anyone? Did Nigeria pay anyone? Tell me now, if lawyer is the problem of Nnamdi Kanu, as I am counting judgments, is it lawyer that is the problem of Nnamdi Kanu, or the government disobeys court order? People must be truthful to themselves. These things I am counting are judgments secured by lawyers. Even Ejimako secured 2 of these things I have called. 2. So I want to know if lawyer is the problem. Lawyer is not the problem. The problem is the government. How can people who prefer Nnamdi Kanu being tortured in Kenya and brought back to Nigeria, they are now telling me that they are now fighting for his freedom? Nobody should joke with my intelligence. They should not. You cannot do it. I will argue you before Nnamdi Kanu's presence. I will tell you, you will tell me the reason why you accepted his torture in Kenya, which we know that only Ipob press release will stop even the whole agent involved will run away. Everybody involved in his kidnap will run away. They would surrender. But you prefer transferring him here so that you'll be blackmailing people. You will have chance to blackmail people. You will now tell us you are next of kin. Imagine people who have such thoughts remember next of kin in this matter. As if head of the Directorate of State does not have next of kin. As if they don't have family members who will also be giving order to ESN. Family member. They should also be giving order to ESN because he's in charge of ESN. Isn't it? Mad people who even don't know what we are doing. So what I am saying, I'm saying now is that after all these things that Nnamdi Kanu secured under Buhari, he defeated Buhari and Buhari's government. Do you understand? Now, Tinubu, Yoruba people started their own. They are the people who sponsored no election in Biafra land as the best way of rigging election. Unfortunately to them, we neutralized that trap, and there was election by the Nigerian people who lives in Biafra territory. They voted, while IPOB stay off the election, but allowed Nigerians who believe in Nigeria voting in the Biafran territory. They wanted and voted, and that neutralized the very Tinubu's trap, a very easiest way of rigging election. So they now ended up in season. They refused to submit code. What is it? What is that code? Code for what? That they are electronics now. The code they used to send to PU officer. They refused to send it to them. They started rigging election in the presence of the voters, because their very best way of rigging P2B out was that there would be no election in the land of the East. But they use people who say they are agitating for Biafra to be shouting it. No election in Biafra land, no election, as if they have anything to do. Their duty is to collect money from people. And the next one is to promote Tinubu's and the, what is it called? INEC fraudulent. Because hence there is no election in Biafra land. P2B have no grant to go to court. And there is no way you can say that election that was rigged. You cannot say that. You cannot say when you are P2B, then you only get 10% voting in Anambra. Though you won. But the number of the vote in Anambra and the Enugu and the Abia will not give you anything to go and argue somebody. There is no way you win Lagos. Hence, you fail, you get 10% voting in Anambra. But when IPOB neutralized that plan of APC, using people who claim to be Biafra agitators to desert our land on their very belief, then at the end of the very no election rubbish, they saw that it didn't work. So what I am saying is that, because I'm about to round up, is that Tinubu, Nigerian president, Yoruba man, Olukayode Ariwola, Chief Justice of Nigeria, a Yoruba man, Lateef Fagbemi, what is position? Attorney General of Nigeria. They should, these three people, a Yoruba man also, they should stop the further trial of Nnamdi Kanu, because it is no longer prosecution, but persecution. Stop persecuting him. Fulani prosecuted Nnamdi Kanu, he defeated them. Now Yoruba now take over of persecution. It is not accepted. Somebody that court prohibited from standing trial, you now say he go back to start trial. Is that how to do your own Yoruba politics? Is that how to do it? You would have looked for a chance. There is no chance here. There's no chance here to fight Igbo. There's no chance here. I'm telling you, because the fact is clear. My screen can confirm it. What Amnesty said here. So our people must know that truth must prevail. And we will continue to say the truth. We will continue to present our arguments very clear and presentable to the public. Argue us on these points. If you are Yoruba man, come and tell us, hey, Tinubu is not speaking on behalf of Yoruba. That is nonsense to me. Until you go and sue on us, or sue the government for not obeying court order. That's when we know that you are free to talk about them. Hence, you are still accepting injustices, killings of IPOB family members, invasion of our communities in Biafra land by the army and police. You are quiet. Then I don't know what you will come in the public to present. What we are saying is that Yoruba people should stop the persecution of Nnamdi Kanu. As simple as that. Thank you. Omo Chineke. This is where thank you. That one is different. You know, there is there are people I want to give thank you. You know, the very topic now, we have come with it severally. So I want to analyze it softly. There are people who come into this page, maybe they do not understand. That's why I present this to them. It's a very clear argument. Nobody should come and go inside your house. You start trying to defend this. It's an injustice against Nnamdi Kanu. That's why I present it this very manner, right? There's nothing to harass them or some other thing today. Thank you. I will greet her. Thank you. I will greet her. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So this is something our people should also check the other way around, that the battle with the Northerners ended, discharged, and acquitted. So why should the Yoruba start afresh? Why should the Yoruba start afresh? So we are saying no, and that is our stand, and we will continue to do so until justice prevails, because these very justices we are hammering on was not given by the Nigerian courts. It was not given, was not given by Ghanaian court. The judgment was not given by Kenyan court. The judgment was not given by Togolese court, but Nigerian courts, Nigerian judges, Nigerian prosecutors. Everything happened there. So they must obey one, at least one. At least one good. Thank you. Thank you. Share it very, very well. Thank you. Thank you. That's why the amnesty tweet is present here on the screen. The tweet of Amnesty International is there on the screen for confirmation of our presentation. That very day was the day the case of Nnamdi Kanu ended. I don't know why some people still want to forward it. I don't know why people want to still continue. I don't know why people still pamper injustice instead of condemning it. Why must you try him? Thank you. Thank you. No, to continue from where Ndi ended, not started. Because Ndi have ended in shame, discharged and acquitted. After all they claim, hey, if we catch him, we jail him. He disgraced them. So why do Yoruba people want to start afresh? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So share it very wide so that others will get it. We are presenting this so that by the time we come to digest it again, our people have get these meanings in them, then we'll hammer it very wide. You know, we are just bringing it softly. The other yesterday, I gave it a small video without live. That's little explanation. I come up again now so that when we come hard on people, they will not say, you did not explain it. Calm down now. Explain it better now. We are just coming softly because we will hammer it to Yoruba people that are hearing it. That's why I present this matter. There are much on my page. I will still hammer it in a very hard way. But we just welcome you to understand that what we are doing is fact. We are not here to do tribalistic or some other thing. We believe in Nigerian constitution. Even corrupt as it is, we know that you cannot jail Kanu. And it ended up so. So why the further trial of Nnamdi Kanu suddenly under Yoruba government? Not just that Yoruba man is a president. Look at what connects Yoruba there that made us to remember the president. The two offices, Chief Justice and Attorney General. is the only attraction there. Now we now check and say, hey, the president is also Yoruba. But these two offices is the key of persecution and prosecution. Because the very chief judge is the head of Supreme Court. They are the people who refer the case back. Now, who is now preparing charges? Still the Attorney General, a Yoruba man. Who hired the three sons, new sons, to lead their prosecution? It must happen from the office of the Attorney General of the Federation, which is Fulani. Thank you. Thank you. So, we thank you all for listening. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking the program. Your duty is to tell yourself the truth, even in secret and in the open. Should Nnamdi stand trial? Ask yourself this: after all that have happened, should Yoruba people continue his trial? Ask yourself this, then you get meanings. Things should be done rightfully. Under Fulani, Fulani, Buhari, Northern government, the case ended up discharged and acquitted. Then under Tinubu, Yoruba, Oduduwa, government of Nigeria, the Supreme Court referred case back to Federal High Court and ordered that he should continue trial, which appeal have prohibited. Supreme Court. And the Attorney General is there, presenting it in court as a prosecution to prosecute Nnamdi Kanu. And that is why we see it as persecution, because the period of persecution have ended under the North, Buhari, Fulani government. Whatever you see now is persecution, and we say no to that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. So the son is also Yoruba man. I don't know. That their lead son, lead prosecutor who refused to shake our leader. I don't know. I don't know. But our leader wanted to shame them. Thank you. From me, fearless Ipob Evangelist Mazi Maduabuchi, and from here, our homeland radio studio. It is good afternoon. Thank you.